Well, hey guys, as you can see, today's college algebra lesson is about absolute value inequalities. These are, again, things we're should be familiar with from Algebra 2, but we're going to add on to them, and most of that we're going to work on together in class. But as you can see, we're going to solve inequalities with absolute values in them. All right, so let's take a look at an example of what we're talking about here. So let's look at this right here. 3x plus 2 is less than 5. All right, I'm gonna look at this in a couple different ways for you. One, I'm going to look at Desmos. Okay, so I've already got it here. Here's y equals 3x plus 2. You can see it's the green graph here. Y equals 5, so that's the horizontal line here. Okay, and where is the absolute value less than 5? Well, hopefully it makes sense. It's right here. It's this region right here. And you can see from the graph, it's between -2 1/3 and 1. Okay, so we know that our answer here, okay, we know that x has to be between -2 1/3 and 1. Well, how are we going to do that without looking at the graphing calculator? Well, what I want you to think is I want you to think of this, and these are all values of the absolute value of 3x plus 2. Okay, now here's 0. What numbers have an absolute value less than 5? Okay, so let me type that in here so I'll give you some notes here. What numbers have the absolute value less than 5? Okay. Well, hopefully this makes sense to you, that these values here between 5 and -5. So the absolute value of 3x plus 2 has to lie in here somewhere where I've shaded. Okay, and actually not the absolute value. I shouldn't say that. That's not totally correct. Okay, 3x plus 2 has to lie in there somewhere. Let me fix that. Okay, so 3x plus 2 has to lie in there somewhere. So we're going to say that -5 is less than 3x plus 2 is less than 5. It lies in there somewhere. All right, and so when we solve this, now we're going to subtract 2, but I have to subtract 2 here. I have to subtract 2 here. And so now what I'm going to get is I'm going to get -7 is less than 3x plus 2 is less than 3. Oh, that's not right. I subtracted that 2 away, right? So that's gone. Right, well, now how do I get that 3 by? So I'll have to divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So what I get is -2 1/3 is less than x is less than 1, which is what we saw when we had the graph. Okay, so now let's look at an example. Okay, let's look at this one. Absolute value of 2x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 7. Okay, again, I'm going to look at two approaches here. Let's go to the graph. There it is. And you'll notice here's absolute value of 2x plus 1, and here's 7. But what we want to consider is, where is it greater? Well, where is it greater? It's here. But notice those values are less than -4. And here, these values are greater than 3. Okay, so let's go back here. And so what we just saw was our solutions are x is less than or equal to -4, or x is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, let me show you those again. So these values have x is less than or equal to -4. This side right here has x values greater than or equal to 3. Okay, well, let's put that on a number line like we did before. Okay, 0. And we're going to consider values of 2x plus 1. Okay? So what values, I'm sorry, let's say this. What numbers have absolute values greater than 7? Or equal to, I should say. Okay. Well, I'm going to put 7 here, and I'm going to put negative 7. Well, that should be these values here, and it should be these values here. Those numbers have absolute values greater than 7. So 2x plus 1 is here, but it also is here. So based on that, what I can write is 2x plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 7. That's this region here. Or 2x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 7. And that's this region here. Okay? So notice two different things happen when we have less than. When we have less than, we can write 1. Oh, wow, that's fancy. We have 1 inequality here. But when we have greater than, we're going to have 2 of them. We'll start here. Okay? So now when we solve this, we'll subtract 1. Subtract 1. We get 2x is less than or equal to negative 8. Hopefully it makes sense. That's this one here. Subtract 1. We get 2x is less than or equal to 6. So that's that one there. Now, we're going to do some more challenging exercises in class than these. These are 2 exercises or examples from Algebra 2.